Hi, so I'm going to demonstrate a new feature where you can synchronize the athlete uh, settings seen here, and then also activity settings or activity overrides, so things like overriding the TSS value or excluding the activity from peak performances between more than one device. So if you run Sauce Performance on a desktop and on a tablet or a laptop, then this gives you a mechanism where changes that are made on one device can get applied to the other device. So for the sake of the demo, I've got one chunk of real estate here, but this is three different devices. So this is a one Chrome profile, this is another Chrome profile, so they act like separate devices. And then an Android emulator, which is using the Kiwi browser, which can run browser extensions. And then I've got Sauce installed on all three of these. And then importantly, we're logged into the same Strava account for all three. And that's critical because this data doesn't get shared through servers that I own. I just put the data in a little gear entry in your Strava account. So basically, it's an archived shoe. And I'll show that at the end of the demo. So to kick this off, we need to go into the sync panel, and then you need to enable the synchronize settings between devices option. And I've already gone ahead and done that. And once that is done, then we can do something interesting like set a new FTP. Save it, leave, and then that's going to cause this guy to export those changes into that gear file. And then I reload a page over here, and it will notice, hey, there were changes made on another device. Looks like the FTP was added. Do you want to apply it? Do you want to skip this? If you don't want to deal with it at the moment, you can just hit X, and then it will just ask you again. If for some reason you don't want to apply the change, you can just skip it, and then it will basically it will remember that, hey, you don't want to do this particular one. If you make another change on the device, it's going to ask you again, but you can continue to skip those. So go ahead and apply it. Same thing for our Android emulator. Makes those changes, and of course this starts to screw up our graph because my FTP is a little higher than 10. Okay. So I'm going to come in here and say, hey, it's not 10. And actually, it might be closer to 340. So let's go ahead and do that. And that's going to export that. Come back over here. Hey, it's not 10. It was changed from 10 to 340. So we apply it. Great. Over here. Reload. Oh, actually, this brings up a good point. So this guy didn't prompt us because it's still actively syncing. So it was still actively dealing with the other changes, and in that state, we don't attempt to apply another change set just to keep things simple. So now that it's done syncing, I reload and hey, the change is there. So we'll go ahead and apply that as well. And then the other place where this can be really helpful is like I did a lot of rock climbing this winter, or indoor rock climbing, and I had to manually add TSS for all of those. So if I do like type workout, for example, yeah. So a lot of these are going to be manual entries. So save that as 7,000. You can immediately see that that had an effect. Come over here. Hey, I went from 70 to 7,000. But actually, I think that's quite silly. So I'm going to skip that one. And then back over here, that change felt rather erroneous. And so let's go ahead and undo that. Put that back to 70. And when we come over here, he's actually going to notice nothing happened if I open up the DevTools. there's a log here, ignoring empty sync setting change set. So basically the code realized that, hey, we did a dry run of this change set and there was actually nothing to do. And that makes sense because we made the change and then we made another change which undid the change. Having not applied the intermediate step, the end result was that there was nothing to do. And that will be true for this third device as well. So how does this work? Because I don't like to use servers, I don't like having access to user data. What I found was that if we go over here to my gear, there is a nice little API for adding shoes and bikes. And doing a little bit of playing around, I figured out that you can store 65 kilobytes of text data in these shoe entries, and then you can archive them so they don't show up in your active list. And then that data can be easily accessed from any other device which is logged into the same Strava account. So it's private. It's basically like a little AWS S3 bucket, but it can store very limited amounts of data. So I have a small library that I developed, which basically has a really basic encoding scheme where it compresses and then base64 encodes these snippets of data, which are just JSON descriptions of what changes, or what settings each particular device has. And then when we load these pages, we just go and we look at these files and we decode them and we go, hey, was there anything new here? Have I seen this change before or not? And if there is, then it will ask you if you want to apply it. So that's how that feature works. Hopefully someone besides myself finds it useful, because I run Sauce on a lot of different devices and it's kind of annoying trying to keep those settings up to date.